Alright, so it's Chandra. I'm here with my makeover horse. So she's all wound up from doing the round pen work, so I'm going to go back and just desensitize her to the whip, kind of bring her back down, and then we're going to work on yielding the hindquarters and the shoulders, and then kind of some desensitizing, some more desensitizing, but up close. So I sped up this part of the video because you guys have already seen this multiple times. I'm just going around and desensitizing her to the whip since I had just put her in the round pen and done that lesson with her. So I'm just bringing her back down from that. Like, she got a little excited and was cantering around a little bit. So I'm just bringing her back down and desensitizing her. And then I'm going to teach her the new exercise and have her yield her hindquarters and her shoulders. All right, so my audio got messed up, so I have to do a quick voiceover, but this is, I think, her first time yielding the hindquarters, or second, but I'm just going to have the rope about 2 feet from the snap is where I'm going to hold it, and then I'm going to approach her shoulder, and then I'm just going to bend at the waist, step toward her hindquarters, and then use pressure with the whip if I need to. And there she steps over on the first time, pretty good. So she's a little anxious because you can see her like top lip twitching around. So I just desensitize her a little bit. Like, I think that's just kind of like a thing she learned on the track. They obviously have a lot of energy and get cooped up in stalls and stuff. And like, so like Rhett is also off the track and he also does like weird things, but he'll mess with his tongue and whatnot. But it's just kind of like a indicator that they're a little stressed. It's not a big deal, but it's important to notice. But there she put her head down. So she's kind of relaxing. She's kind of sniffing the ground here. So I think she's kind of relaxing a bit. So I stepped and she didn't move over. So I just tapped and she moved over. So I step up, bend at the waist, step toward her hindquarters, and she didn't go over. So I'm just going to tap her hip here, keep tapping until she steps across. There it goes. And then I release. And then I'll occasionally like desensitize. As needed. Not every time, because she's not super forward. So I kept asking there. She didn't want to cross over, but I'll take like a sideways step at first. Ideally, I would like a crossover. So, bend, step. She's stepping together, stepping together, stepping together. She stepped across there. I can't really see because I have this one camera and it blocks out some of the view, but I'm going to get another one so we can have a better situation, see what the training is doing. So same thing. So I'm rewarding that like right hind stepping over and opening. So there it steps. There she crosses. Perfect. So like it just kind of depends on your horse. If they're really sticky, like I would take that like outside to you hind leg opening and I reward that, and then I would build up to having the inside one closest to you crossing over. So just take every little step in the beginning. So same thing on the other side. So I bent, I stepped, she didn't move. So I'm tapping and then I'm going to start pulling her face a little bit toward me with the halter rope. So I don't do that at first, but she was really stuck here. So it just kind of helps her move over, kind of pushes her balance over. So she has to step over like a one rein stop. So try this again. So I'm bend, step right toward her hindquarters, lift my whip. Nothing happens, so I'm tapping. Keep asking. There she crosses, and I stand straight up. So she's going to learn the difference in the body language. So my body language when I'm bent over is, hey, move your butt over. And then when I'm straight, it's just, I'm just going to approach you, and I'm neutral. Because you don't want the horse to yield their hindquarters every time you come up to, like, brush them or touch them on the hindquarters. So they learn the difference here. So she's more sticky on this side. I'm going to have to use my whip a bit more, but she is crossing over better. And then I release when she crosses over, and then I always come back, start up in front of her shoulder, so it's a little desensitizing. It's a little come up, make sure you're cool with me approaching you, and then I'll ask for that hindquarters over. And it doesn't seem like a big deal on her. So here she's looking away, so I'm just going to hold that pressure till she comes back. So I want her attention on me at all times when I'm around her. And then it'll just become a habit. So she's got plenty of other hours in the day where she can pay attention to other things. So back to the start up here in front of her shoulders. So she's cool. Bend, step. There, that was nice. And I don't mind that the end of the lead rope's kind of dragging around. Like, as long as it's not wrapped up in their legs or anything, it's just another way to desensitize them. So you can lift your whip or you can leave it up on their hip. It doesn't really matter. It's kind of easier if you leave it up on their hip, unless they start anticipating that every time you touch them with the whip there's to move. So it just kind of depends on your horse. And she's not really, she's kind of pushing on me here, so I'm just getting her out of my space. So when she pushes into me, I'm going to be a little bit firmer, and I'm not going to be like, oh, hey, can you just back up and like start the lowest pressure and build my way up, because she pushed into me. So that's what happened there. But if I was like teaching her the backing lesson, that would be different. I'll always start at the lowest pressure, but you got to stay safe, and they can't just barge into you. So there she took a correct step, so I'm going to give her positive reinforcement. So this video is a couple months old when I'm voicing over it, but I started like clicker training with her, and I didn't use it as much, like as you can see in the beginning of this video. Like I used it there, but I'm starting to use it more, and she's just making so much more progress with it. So in her future videos, we're going to use it a lot more, and I think she's just so much better with it. It just gives them something. It gives them a paycheck. So, but you'll see more of that soon. So you see me when I was like holding the lead rope up and kind of bumping her nose away. If I lift it up kind of toward her hip, it'll push that hip away. And that's what I was trying to accomplish there. I'm just going to keep asking. There she crossed over, and I'll instantly stand up straight and release. So then also, like, if I would use more positive reinforcement, I'm clucking or clicking with my tongue as soon as she moves that inside leg away from me and crosses it over. So then she knows right when I click, that's the behavior that I want, and that's what she'll be rewarded for in a second when I give her some grain. So just randomly desensitize, make sure they're not anticipating the whip coming. Like, I want them to just wait for the cue, and she's clearly not anticipating because she won't even go on the cue. So there, I'm tipping her nose away because she was kind of like sticky with her hind end, had her hip pointed at me a little bit, just trying to get the point across to her here. And really, like, this would have been a little bit easier if I had like the training stick, because it's hard to tap with that lunge whip. More sensitive. She started out as a more sensitive horse when I was round penning her. Obviously, she's a thoroughbred, but she was just really sticky on this exercise. So the training stick would have been better, or I could turn this whip the other way. But we got through it. There, that was really nice. So I clucked right then when she crossed her hind legs over, and I'm just going to give her a little handful of grain. Okay, so I think I'm going to end on that one and then work on the shoulders a bit. So that last hindquarter yield was really nice. So you always want to end on a good note and have them thinking about it. And so then, like, she did it correctly. She got a click, she got a reward, and then she got to end that lesson. So she'll remember the last thing she did. So we're going to do the yielding the shoulders. I'm just going to walk toward the center of her neck. I'm going to have a couple feet on the lead rope, and then I'm going to have the end of my lunge whip kind of toward her face. So I can kind of bump on her neck if I need to push her over a little bit. So I'm just going to step, raise my hands, create a little pressure, and she steps over, but she has that nasty like face with her ears back. So right now I'm just going to be like, okay, you stepped over, that's perfect. But see how I didn't close the gap? Like, there's a space between us. Like, if I go up there and stand right next to her, then she's like, nothing is happening. Like, we're still the same distance apart. The idea is to get her out of my space. So I'm giving her the space. I'm letting her relax here. Right now, I'm not addressing the ears because I just want her to be like, this is the lesson, like, step over, release the pressure, that's it. But she's really like finicky about me touching her shoulders, touching her chest, touching her back. It just kind of depends on the day. So I'm addressing the ear issue, and really, like, all I'm doing is holding that until the ears stop. So I'll show you that more in further videos, but I was explaining there how I would eventually turn the whip the other way, and then that's going to be your steering. So like, if you want to do bridleless riding, or just once you're starting under saddle and you want to teach some steering, you can use the whip to kind of help you out with that. So she's more like a fearful, that's why her ears are pinned. She's not like trying to attack me, but she's trying to be like, don't hurt me, like, I'll hurt you first kind of thing. And she's never bitten me, like, she doesn't do any of that stuff, so I don't, like, if you have a horse that's like that, I don't recommend just ignoring it. But with her, I'm just doing that at first. I do notice the ears, but I want her to just be like, okay, this is what we're doing, and then we'll work on that later. So we're going to give her a few more lessons, and I'll show you her progress in these 2 lessons in a little bit later.